It's difficult to make sense of the world, especially when we're always distracted. What gets your attention and what doesn't? Where did all these distractions come from? And what are we distracting ourselves from? This is a part where I'm supposed to go into a whole speech about how our phones and social media have morphed us into a depressed state. Well, no. This may be true, but it's not the whole truth. On this channel, I offer unique perspectives and delve deeper into the issues that we face. There's something innate in us that means we love to daydream. You're probably even doing it right now. It means we don't have to deal with all the issues that we face in our actual lives. And yeah, our phones are distracting, but before our phones, it was TV. People were worried that TV was going to take over our brains. And before that, it was comic books. And even before that, it was radio. Imagine that, spending 8 hours a day listening to the radio. The problem of distractions has plagued humans for thousands of years, and until we truly understand what's going on, it will continue to do so. We are often distracted by things that we don't have. There's a Greek myth that sums this up brilliantly. There once was a guy called Tantalus, and he was banished to the underworld by his father Zeus. There, Tantalus was hungry and thirsty. He was knee-deep in a pool of water, and there was a fruit tree right above his head that dangled delicious ripe fruit. Every time he bent down to get some water, it vanished. And every time he reached up to get some fruit, the branch disappeared. And he was doomed to spend eternity seeking things for which he could never have. This is actually where the English word for tantalizing comes from, meaning something that is desirable, but just out of reach. This perfectly describes the human condition, always seeking more money, a better job, more sex, a better house, whatever you name it, it's not enough. And we end up saying to ourselves, if I could just get this one thing, then I'd be happy. This has a name. It's called the arrival fallacy. This is a popular illusion that most of us face, and it starts with discontent. We convince ourselves that there must be a cure to this unhappiness, and to find that cure, something must change. We then spend great deals of time and energy seeking this change. And when we finally get there, you guessed it, we're still unhappy. The world around us might have changed, but the world inside remains very much the same. So how do you think this way of thinking comes about? I think it has something to do with how we create value in our lives. No one's jealous of the guy quietly in the corner who's happy as anything. Instead, as a society, we're jealous of people who fly to Dubai in a private jet. And rather than focusing on what's right in front of you, we end up seeking more, much like our old friend Tantalus. 2 psychologists from Harvard found that on average we spend 47% of every waking hour focusing on what is not right in front of us. Just imagine that, 28 minutes of every hour you're focused on something different from what is right in front of you. And this has a huge impact on our mental health. To find this out, they asked participants at random points of the day what they were doing and how happy they were. They found that it didn't really matter what activity you were doing, even if you're taking the bins out or doing some laundry. If you were focused on the here and now, you were more likely to be happy than if you were mind-wandering. And according to them, mind-wandering is the best predictor of happiness that they could find. So it turns out that the old cliche of living in the here and now is actually bang on. Now, for the real question. How on earth do we live in the here and now, especially in the modern age? Firstly, go on your phone and have a look at your screen time. Then you'll get a gauge of just how much time you spend distracted. Then, each night, write down a list of things that you want to accomplish the next day. Don't just aimlessly plod about from one thing to the next. Actually focus on what you want to do and when you want to do it. And if you do want to watch 3 movies, then fine, still write that down, that's very valid. Now you have a list of things that you want to do, then you can focus on them one at a time. Now I am awful at this. I try and do 5 things at once, and I do 5 things poorly, rather than one thing correctly. And this way, it actually takes me much longer to get anything done. And when you find yourself mind-wandering, try and bring yourself back to where you are. So look around you and point out 3 or 5 different things that are in your vicinity. This will help bring you back to the here and now. And the more time you spend in that place, the more you'll want to spend time in that place. And be realistic with your goals. Don't say, I want to take over the world in 3 days. I want to take over the world in 3 days. Because it's going to take a lot longer than that. But most importantly, try appreciating things that you already have more than you do. For example, when you have that coffee in the morning, really have a sip and think, wow, what a good coffee. Or when you're in the shower, think, damn, this is a nice shower, I'm happy to be here. Don't let those little moments that you experience every day just pass you by, because you can find so much joy in those moments. And if you do this enough, your whole perspective of the world will change. Now, I'm no expert, I don't do this every day. This is something that I've noticed helps me, and I wish I could do it more. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. And to be honest, it's a very fine balance. You know, you're trying to appreciate what you have whilst also seeking more. It's not easy, but that is the beauty of life. If you've got this far, thank you very much for your time. Please subscribe if you have enjoyed, comment, all of that shit. And until next time, take care.